I'm opposed to this bill, which will transfer billions of taxpayer dollars to private hospitals and clinics, leading to longer wait lines, poorer communication and coordination, a diminished quality of care for our veterans, and higher costs for taxpayers. This is the step toward privatization of the Veterans Administration, because if you hollow out the Veterans Administration, if you make it impossible for people to be able to access their benefits, then they say, well, we can't trust the VA. And then they'll move in the direction of privatization, and that is where this administration wants to go. This bill would worsen the quality of life for service members and their families while putting veterans' safety at risk. While our military faces massive recruitment challenges, the bill underfunds military construction by nearly $1 billion, hurting our recruitment and retention, undermining our military readiness by making it harder to keep guns out of the hands of those legally barred from holding them. This bill endangers veterans' safety. The bill leaves military installations, service members, and their families vulnerable to climate change and worsening natural disasters by failing to include dedicated funding to strengthen our military installations against these threats, or to help them recover from past disasters. Defense leaders, including during President Trump's first term, have warned of the danger that climate change poses to our military, and the tens of billions of dollars in damage to military installations from recent severe weather reinforces their point. The former Secretary James Mattis, he warned that climate change threatened American interests and our defense assets around the world, and said climate change is, and I quote, a challenge that requires a broader whole-of-government response. This bill attacks women veterans, who are the fastest-growing group served by the Department of Veterans Affairs, with a policy rider that limits abortion access and prohibits abortion counseling. The women who volunteer to serve and defend our nation, to protect Americans' sacred rights and our freedoms, should not come home to find that their medical care and family planning decisions being made by anyone other than themselves, their families, and their doctors. These riders do nothing but put us on a path of partisan division. It will make it more difficult to come to an agreement on full-year bills that can actually become law. Ending fiscal year 2025 with an unprecedented full-year continuing resolution was a missed opportunity to invest in our veterans and in our service members. We should be working towards a bipartisan bill that can actually pass this year. And finally, the bill undercuts our commitments to our military partners. The Trump administration has already done a masterful job at alienating America on the world stage, turning our back on our closest allies. This bill goes even further. It underfunds NATO, the infrastructure, by almost $200 million. It undermines the infrastructure projects of our own troops in Europe that they're relying on. Our credibility as a national security partner has been trashed by this administration, and now it is not time to retreat from our alliances even further. The majority may suggest that they are supporting veterans' needs with this bill alone, but we all know that it does not contain all the programs the most vulnerable veterans depend on. Programs and services, food assistance, education, health research, which this administration has illegally frozen and dismantled, and which their budget decimates funding for, support veterans around the country. Losing that support means abandoning our responsibilities and our promises to our nation's veterans. While I am glad that the Democrats on the Appropriations Committee were successful in shaming our colleagues across the aisle into amending their original bill to include advanced funding for the PACT Act, this bill still fails too many veterans in too many ways. So I cannot support it, and I urge my colleagues to vote no. Thank you, and I yield back the balance of my time.